Being involved in DJing is kind of what really turned my passion on for music. When I was a kid, I was in bands and I played guitar, but there was something about electronic music that just took my passion for music to kind of the next level, and I wanted to be involved in any kind of way possible. Obviously DJing has changed a lot. Like, I started getting involved in it like around 20 years ago, and all the clubs that I used to go to, often you couldn't actually see the DJ. The whole superstar DJ thing has coloured, I guess, the DJ culture somewhat, but I think in Berlin it's still very much about the music, and there's not so much of going to see DJ X. It's more about people recognize the power of music, and they show that on the dance floor. And then I guess what that evolved into is, over the years, my interests spread out into all types of electronically generated sound. You know, collecting sounds, just in general. I like to collect sounds from the urban environment and then the rural environment, or from nature. You're always kind of searching out for like a kind of silent or a relatively quiet moment, that there's something interesting happening within that. It's kind of like fishing. There's a lot of luck involved when you're trying to. When I go out with my recorder, I never have any specific goal in mind, because it's more what that sound represents to me is what is important than the way it actually sounds. Sometimes I'll get a sound and it's kind of like, you know, metaphorically I'll pull it apart and stretch it and look at it from different angles to see what's possible with the actual sound. If you have certain types of technology, it's like a magnifying glass, you can go in and look at that and look at something that might be affecting you but that you're not actually conscious of. In a city, there's always like a drone of traffic surrounding you. So I was just by the side of the river and I kind of made this recording, and you know, to my ears, when I was making the recording, I could hear like all this traffic around me. I could hear certain amounts of, like, you know, maybe birds in the trees and this kind of thing. But then when I brought it home and I filtered the sound, all of a sudden I could hear, like, you know, fish jumping in the water, and I could hear bats kind of at a very high frequency tweeting, and all these kind of other things I wasn't conscious of at the time. Berlin has kind of facades, but particularly for me, it's like, you know, a lot of buildings have their doors open, so you can kind of go into the Hof in the back, and sometimes you can go in, there's a Hof, and then there's a Hof, and then there's a Hof, and you can kind of go further back. And sometimes when you go through these doors, you never know what's actually going to be there. And like, so many times I've been surprised in that there's been like a beautiful garden, or sometimes it's just actually just the silence. I think a characteristic of Berlin in general is that, to my ears, it's a very silent city. If you do just go off a few side streets, it doesn't take long before I become actually conscious of the silence. I always notice when I go into these Hofs, because they're like they're very isolated. They're like a cocoon or something that you're actually in, and it's like a container of silence. Mundane sounds, all of a sudden they start to become a lot more present or significant. Then it takes on, those sounds take on a kind of more significant factor.